So everything was working against you here. Okay, like the injury, the hand injury, the painkiller issue, the torn MCL, the lockout, and everything else was coming together. So clearly, the odds were stacked against you. So what at this point, where in your like I'm assuming that you knew you were gay for a long period of time, much longer before this was happening. How are you handling that? In OHL, junior, pro dressing rooms, where not exactly what you would consider tolerant and understanding places. So, how are you struggling there?
Oh goodness, I knew since I was 6. I've always known, but I didn't think as I moved on in hockey, I realized I didn't think I could be gay and play the sport I love. So I suppressed it and adhered to the stereotypes and tropes of a hockey bro. I was a womanizer. I partied hard. I was cocky. I walked into a room like I owned it. I acted like I was a gift to the world. And people around me thought I had this pretty cool life. I'd be walking through malls, signing autographs. I'd be getting my friends into clubs VIP at like 16, 17 years old. What they didn't know is I would go home at night when I was in the OHL and junior and pro to my billet's house, and I'd cry. I hated myself. Candidly, I wanted to die, and on more than one occasion, I tried to. I think a lot of that led to the injuries. By the time I was 18, I started drinking heavily. From 18 to 23, I drank pretty much every day to numb it, to not have to think about it. I wasn't sleeping. I was depressed. I was drinking, and the injuries seemed to follow. And I think a lot of the injuries were, psychosomatic. They were my own doing because I was struggling so much. But throughout that time, I knew, and it wasn't until I was in Europe, I was 23, and I sat myself down. I just said, man, you need to figure this out. Because I knew two things were going to happen. Number one, hockey was going to end. And number two, and most importantly, if I kept going down this destructive path, I was likely to end up dead. So I came back from that season. Instead of going to Sudbury, I went to Toronto, and I went on a date with a guy. And right away, I was like, yeah, you're gay. I knew. And at first, it was like this incredible, my career's going to get back on track. I'm going to make the NHL. But it actually got worse because now, instead of suppressing who I was hiding it. I was in the closet, and I wasn't just hiding myself. I was hiding somebody else. And that was exhausting. We dated for 3 years of my life without a soul knowing.